Hello there everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to talk about Eyes of Wakanda. This is an American animated anthology television miniseries created by Todd Harris for the streaming service Disney Plus, based on the Marvel Comics country Wakanda. It is the 15th television series in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so the MCU, from Marvel Studios, and is produced by Marvel Studios Animation with Proximity Media. Obviously, that is the business run by Ryan Coogler, who obviously made the Black Panther films, right? And Sinners, so that's really nice. Obviously, sharing continuity with the films of the franchise. It follows the Hatut Zaraze, Wakandan warriors who carry out dangerous missions throughout history. Harris served as showrunner and director. So obviously this has a couple of genres. It is action adventure, anthology, yeah, there we go, science fiction, and superheroes. So alright, I struggled a bit with my words there, but you get it. Anyway, created by Todd Harris, based on Marvel Comics, developed by Ryan Coogler, showrunner obviously Todd Harris, starring Winnie Harlow, Chris Williams, Lara Herron, Adam Gold, Jacques Colimont, Jonah Xau, Zika Alton, Steve Tissot. Music by Hasham Nazi. Country of origins, obviously United States. Original language, English, but kind of think like South African or African too. I mean, African, is that even language? South African is a language, right? Wait. Okay, now we're talking about geography in a Wakanda video. I mean, it's interesting, right? But yeah, no. To be honest, I really thought that this series was kind of interesting. Obviously, Wakanda is very popular, I guess, place in the Marvel comics, and obviously it became more popular now. Obviously, too, with the Black Panther films, which is really nice. And I think a lot of people respect Wakanda for what it is, right? It is a high tech city, obviously kind of run, I suppose, sorry to say this, by black people. And I think that's really, really nice. I really think there's a kind of, I guess, interesting thing right there, right? You have obviously, because us, like, I'm a white guy myself. Obviously, there are people that think that, white supremacy and shit like that. But I think that's really interesting. Wakanda is a really interesting location to make a show out of. And was I disappointed? No, not really. I was really glad that they made something Eyes of Wakanda related. So obviously, so in February 2021, an overall deal between Disney and Ryan Coogler's Proximity Media was announced. An animated series about Wakanda was in development by March 2023 and was officially announced as Eyes of Wakanda that December. Harris' involvement was revealed in March 2024. Unlike Marvel Animation's other series, to that point, Eyes of Wakanda is set in the MCU's sacred timeline and has greater connections with the franchise's films. Animation for the series is provided by Axis Animation in a hand-painted style inspired by contemporary African American artists such as Ernie Barnes, as well as illustrator Dean Cornwell. Eyes of Wakanda premiered on Disney Plus on the 1st of August 2025, with all 4 episodes released simultaneously. Yeah, it is the first series of the Phase 6 of the MCU. So obviously, yes, I saw these episodes, but the thing is, dude, I'm watching series and films daily, so I kind of stacked these new series up. I saw Eyes of Wakanda. I'm currently still watching, by the time I'm recording this, Alien Earth. I'm also currently watching The Sandman to prepare myself for The Sandman Season 2, Wednesday to prepare myself for Wednesday Season 2. So if I have time, I just, fluctuate between the different series, watch an episode a day, maybe from, all of those 4 series. And Eyes of Wakanda was a series that I really wanted to, get into. And I was like, I shouldn't really wait and hold back on this series because it was only 25 minutes per episode and 4 episodes. So that was like a total of 100 minutes or something. So yeah, I guess, I kind of rushed that bit. But I think it worked out, right? So the premise of the series is about Hatut Zaraze. Wakandian warriors carry out dangerous missions around the world to retrieve vibranium artifacts throughout history. So episode 1 was called Into the Lion's Den. In 1216 BC, the former Dora Milaje Noni is tasked by her mentor Akaye with a mission to hunt down and capture rogue Hatut Zaraze agent named Nakati, who has defied all previous efforts to apprehend him. So obviously, he's calling himself the Lion. Obviously, and he's planning to make a pride of the line, an independent state populated by abducted men and women from across the world, which is really interesting. Obviously, so the mortally wounded Nakati triggers a self-destruct device which destroys the entire complex. Obviously spoilers, but Noni survives the explosion and Nakaya invites her to rejoin the Dore Malaje. The fiercely independent Noni instead chooses to join the Hattutsarazi. So that's interesting. Yeah, okay. So that was episode 1. I really liked Into the Lion's Den because the first, I guess, villain of the episode was the lion, and he looked very cool, man. Holy shit! You can't say that he doesn't really look cool because he did. A really nice like lion mask, and he was wearing these kind of interesting clothes. So there we go. Legends and Lies, episode 2. During the Trojan War in 12 BC, Bekai has infiltrated the Greek army under the allies of Memnon, and fights alongside Achilles, right? Wait, I'm going to try to pronouncing these Greek names. So Memnon and fights alongside Achilles, right? Anyway, so yes, it is Achilles from the Greek legends, right? Obviously, the guy who his weakness was his heel, right? Achilles' heel, that's like an entire thing, right? So there we go. In their battle against the Trojans, Memnon's allegiance is questioned by Pharaoh, but Achilles defends him. Odysseus, yes, the guy from the new Christopher Nolan film. Odysseus pitches his idea of the Trojan horse. The horse is built and given to the Trojans. Obviously, later that night, Memnon, Achilles, and their soldiers emerge from the Trojan horse and silently take out the guards while letting in the rest of the Greek army. That's interesting. So yes, let's see here. So Achilles, wait a second. Let's see here. Achilles catches up to see Memnon letting Paris and Helen flee. Obviously, the same Helen as in, Helen from Troy. So after understanding the power inside the necklace, so right now in the episode, the second episode, it was a necklace. The first episode, it was like a spear that they needed to retreat, which was really interesting. So let's see here. Memnon confronts a fleeing Paris and Helen of Troy, where he pursues them to give up Helen's necklace. Achilles catches up to see Memnon letting Paris and Helen flee. After understanding the power inside the necklace, Achilles questions about the necklace, but Memnon does not give information on the necklace. Assuming that Memnon is a traitor, Achilles and Memnon fight, but Memnon wounds Achilles in the heel. Bada boom! And regretfully stabs him. Having returned the artifact home, Bekai speaks to an older Noni, who tells him not to feel guilty for his action because Wakanda will only survive by concealing itself from the outsiders. Bekai in turn tells Noni that he feels like a stranger at Wakanda after spending 9 years on cover, and asks to be sent on another mission immediately. So there we go. Alright. So yeah, I needed to read a bit here because yeah, that's really interesting. But yeah, hey, cool, nice. So the first episode was kind of like 1260 BC, which I am not quite sure is like during the Great East, right? So I believe boats and stuff like that. Second episode was about the Trojan War and Greeks and Romans and stuff like that. Episode 3 is in 1400 AD. So Wakandan field agent Basha has infiltrated Kunlun to retrieve a piece of vibranium held inside a small dragon statue. Kunlun, right? Isn't that the place from? Wait a second. Kunlun is. Let's see here. It looks like. Wait, I'm currently reading this on Wikipedia, and it says Atlantis, Atalan. Chronopolis, no. Kunlun is a fictional region in Marvel, right? Which obviously was seen in Lego Marvel Super Heroes 2, I think, but I'm not quite sure about that. I think it did. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Anyway, in Kunlun, to retrieve a piece of vibranium held inside a small dragon statue. The vibranium can be removed, so Basha takes the statue's head and flies back to Wakanda. Upon his return, Basha debriefs with his field leader Ebo and Consulman. So, in the hangar, a mysterious intruder emerges from Basha's ship. The intruder then encounters Ebo and asks for Basha. He tricks the intruder into a cafeteria filled with Hatut Zarazi. But the intruder fights him off and escapes. Basha encounters the intruder, who is revealed to be Jorani, the woman who found him in the snow outside Kunlun, and nursed him back to health. In the artifact room, Basha explained that the artifact was stolen from Wakanda by Jorani, chastises him for betraying her trust. With her iron fist power, she easily removes the vibranium from the statue, hiring Jorani in a room. Pasha and Ibo cover up the accident to Rakim's satisfaction, and he promotes Ebo. Then then they sneak Jorani back to the hangar so that she can return to Kunlun with the statue's head. So obviously, in this story, obviously it was Kunlun. So we also heard that the Iron Fist and saw that the Iron Fist was in this episode, which was really nice. And this is the first time we see an Iron Fist, appearance in the MCU, which is really nice. So alright, the fourth episode, The Last Panther. In 1896 AD, Kuda mentors Prince Tafari on his first mission to retrieve a Vibranium X from Adwa during battle. Let's hear. On their way back to Wakanda, an armored person suddenly appears, causes their transport to crash and fight them. Kura and Tafari get the better of the adversary, but she reveals herself to be the Queen of Wakanda and the last Black Panther from 500 years in the future. The Black Panther shows them a vision of Wakanda in ruins, destroyed by aliens known as the Horde. Due to Wakanda's isolationist policy, which stopped them from uniting with other nations to fight against the Horde. The Black Panther sent herself back in time to find a way of stopping the Horde and found that the X helps the future king of Wakanda to see the wider world as a potential ally if the X is left where it was found. So to prove that the Black Panther is from the future, she reveals that the present queen is pregnant. The last Panther is pulled back into the future. Tafari confirms Kuda about the present queen's pregnancy. Tafari and Kuda return to Adwa, but Kuda is injured by Tafari. Place the X back where it was found. After Tafari covers up what happened to the royal family, Tafari and Kuda hope the failure of their original mission was worthy to save the future. Years later, Eric Killmonger Stevens prepares to steal the X, which is now on display in the London Museum. Okay, alright, yeah, that is really nice. That's a really, really interesting kind of ending there because, Eric Killmonger is obviously the villain of the first film. And it was really interesting to see, right? So, yeah, Ryan Coogler, writer and director of the Marvel Studios films Black Panther, obviously one from 2018 and Black Panther Wakanda Forever 2022, and obviously also producer on the Ironheart series, announced a 5-year television deal between his company. The deal included the development of a drama series for the streaming service based on the fictional country of Wakanda, the setting of the Black Panther films. Coogler was developing the series with Marvel Studios' Kevin Feige, Luis Despacito, and Victoria Alonso. Obviously, Richard Newby at The Hollywood Reporter said the series could expand the mythos of Wakanda while also paying tribute to Chadwick Boseman, who portrayed T'Challa Black Panther in the Marvel Cinematic Universe until his death in August 2020. So, yes, I think that's a really interesting, I guess, a real nice series because you get to experience and get to see the, I guess, little stories that were told before the Black Panther films, obviously during the Trojan War, right, and other things. That time travel stuff was a bit interesting to see, but I hope they make some more episodes because I really can't wait. Obviously, you have Hatud Zarazi, which are obviously secret agents, and they can go everywhere, man. They can go literally everywhere and anywhere, right? So these guys, they just pop off and pop on wherever they're needed, right? So maybe you can have an adventure in, Western America, or maybe in, let's say here, 40s Paris, right? During the World War II, right? That could be very interesting. Or you could go even further back, maybe Babylon or Pompeii. I'm not quite sure. Like, I see these possibilities that Marvel could do, and I think that's really interesting. Obviously, you could tie it up nicely with like other, I guess, foreign characters. Like obviously we had Iron Fist here, which was a really nice inclusion with obviously Kunlun. But maybe you can have like Shang-Chi, or maybe the father of Shang-Chi, obviously Legend of the Ten Rings, right? The Mandarin, right? Because he lives so long, and the Eternals, man, you can also let some of these Eternals appear in those episodes. I think you can do a lot with this idea, and I hope they'll make a season 2 because I just hope that people saw this one, because there was not really a lot of promotional material for it. Same goes for Ironheart, right? They kind of released in the same period. I watched them both. I really kind of liked them both, which was really nice. But yeah, I just can't wait to see season 2. But alright, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will check you later. Goodbye.